Hey guys, welcome back to my Fmod tutorial session using Castle Lovers. So in this session I'm going to be running you through the last little bits and pieces I haven't really shown yet. It's just going to be a pretty short video. I'm just going to be showing you some of the multi-instruments I've used for the game and some of the events and stuff. So for the button press in the game, it's used primarily when you're switching between screens. When you click on one of the buttons, it's like your stock standard menu sound. You can hear it there. I'll turn it up a little bit so you can hear it. So this sound, not my spacebar, the actual sound in the event, these were actual analog buttons that we have on a old tape machine that was in the studio that we were using, and we were flipping switches and clicking in buttons and getting those actual button sounds. And then I did some editing in Pro Tools, so I added some special effect reverbs, which add like the little clicks and the little artifacts in the background to make it sound like video game buttons. So that was a fun little experiment. For the enemies on screen are like little pixelated bats and zombies. I did originally have spawning noises, so when they spawned in, I kind of wanted to have some little music cues. Sorry, that's the wrong one. The little music cues that kind of played. It's a little it's just a little synth that I made. It was a little bit too long, and the way that the enemies spawned didn't necessarily work within the scene, so unfortunately these didn't make it into the game. But it's still fun to play around, and if you ever have ideas for a game, don't be afraid to act on them and actually make them, because you never know if someone's actually going to like it or not. So that's what I ended up doing here. Was I thought, well, they could use them or they couldn't, and I could at least show you guys. Yeah, I did kind of want to put them in time with the music, but that was a whole nother thing, which I didn't really have time to get into. And as you heard before, which I accidentally played these little death sounds as you click on the enemies and they get squished, which is fun little mouth sounds that I made and edited. I just bit crushed them a little bit and just turned down the sample rate so they sound nice, a little cartoony. The other interactions I have in the game, again, you might be familiar with this creaking sound that I made. So we actually ended up using this rubber material that we had on it's like a plunger that we had, and we would rub our finger across it and it would squeak. And if you stretch any squeaks, it sounds like wooden creaking. Okay, that one's a little bit rubbery. That one you can definitely tell it's rubber. But yeah, it was fun. So when you click on a building and you can't tax it, so it has no money, then it'll make this sound. But if you click on a building and you can tax it, these are the sounds that happen. Which are some really satisfying little gold coin noises that we made. I had a bunch of loose change and a felt bag. So we dropped the coins into the bag and we got some really satisfying coin sounds. If you play video games, you probably know that these sound effects are, well, pardon the pun, but they're golden. So if your coin sounds are really, if they're really nice and people really like them, then people are going to love playing your game because they can get hooked on the little noise and they want to make money because it just sounds so good. So in another screen, the vault screen, you actually get to click on the pile of money that you have in front of you just as something fun to do. And each time you click it, it makes another nice little sound. These, instead of dropping them into a bag, these are more just manipulated. So just a single coin kind of rustled against other ones. But they were really fun to make, and I was really proud that I could make something that sounded really, really professional, just out of what I had lying around at home. But yeah, that's basically it for this project. I hope that you learnt something, because I know I definitely did. So yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. I wish that there was a little bit more that I could walk through with the Fmod side of things, but apart from... oh, actually, there is. Sorry. What I wanted to show you was also me working with VCAs. So, VCAs are a very simple way of... give me 1 second. VCAs are basically groups. So you can assign VCAs as a overarching group of sounds. So the two VCAs that I made are music and sound effects. So you can see on the right hand side, and these are the overarching ones. So everything kind of is included in a VCA. The way that the VCAs were helpful for me in this project were in Unity, the game engine that we're using. We used VCAs as the master controls for the settings. So in the settings options, when you turn down the little slider on the screen to turn down the music or turn down the sound effects, these were what you're affecting. So obviously if you turn the VCA for the music down, you're not going to be able to hear the music play. If you go back to the actual event and you play the music, it won't play at all because the VCA is turned on. But when you go back and you turn up that VCA, music comes back. So these were our settings sliders, basically. And the same happens for the sound effects. You just end up putting all the sound effects. So the sound effect group, which you can see in my routing screen, has all the miscellaneous sounds, all of the dialogue sounds, and then all the event sounds. They're grouped in their own groups, and then they're also grouped through sound effects. All you have to do is reroute, or you have to assign to a VCA, and you assign it to the SFX VCA, or the music, vice versa. You can make VCAs for anything, sound effects, voice lines. You can actually have separate controls in your game over the music, sound effects, dialogue, all that kind of thing. And you use that, and you use VCAs to accomplish that. So yeah, that was one final little thing that I got to teach you guys. And yeah, that was basically my project. I learned a lot more about the signal flow through the mixing window. I've never really used the mixer window before in projects. I've kind of just focused on the events and what actually happens and then trying to get that into the game. But now I had some time to do some more professional things and I worked on a slightly more professional environment. I actually got to really learn the ins and outs of returns, VCAs, you name it. The sidechaining effects, the compressor, and lots of different ways that you can actually work inside of Fmod. So with that, thank you very much for watching my videos. I hope you learned a thing or two. And if you have any more questions about how this how this session works, then feel free to leave it in the comments. Thank you very much.